Nothing is more satisfying like eating freshly home-baked cake, more so on a special day like this. It is my birthday and I baked this delicious black forest for myself with a twist of strawberry in place of cherries. The good thing about baking your own cake, you can customize it to your own liking. And I feel knowing some basic baking is very essential to every household. On that note, I'm going to take you through how to make the best, delicious, and moist black forest step by step from scratch, the sponge cake, and to frosting. So, if you want to know how I made this, keep watching and watch the video up to the end. Without further ado, let's get to the video. Well, get all your dry ingredients and mix them together and sift them. I'm going to use all-purpose flour 2 cup, cocoa powder half a cup, 1 teaspoon baking powder, half teaspoon baking soda. Sift them all together to incorporate the air. All the ingredients and the exact measurements are listed in the description box. So you can just check on it. Suppose I forget to mention any ingredient or the measurements, at times it skips my mind. So mix it all together, add some salt, and this will help to balance the sugar. Give it a good mix and put aside. Grease your baking tin with the margarine, apply it all over, all corners, and I'm using a tablespoon of flour to cover my cake pan. You can as well use a cocoa powder in place of this flour if you feel like maybe your black forest will turn out white. Then place the parchment paper at the bottom of the tin. Then cover your pan with aluminum foil, and this will help to keep the moist as it bakes. We want a moist black forest cake. Then place it on another tray and keep aside as we prep our wet ingredient. Separate the egg yolk from the white. Do this one at a time. This step is very essential when making black forest, which is a sponge cake. Separating eggs allows you to control the texture and structure of your baked goods. Try and be careful when separating them not to drop the egg yolk on the white side, and I'm using 5 eggs. At this point, preheat your oven at 180 degrees and the cake will bake for 40 minutes. Once done with that, the next step, beat your egg white using a hand mixer and add in your sugar gradually as you whip it until it's foamy and stiff peak. Guys, thanks for stopping by and welcome back to another amazing recipe. So if you're coming across my video for the first time and you find this kind of content useful, kindly consider subscribing, like this video, and press the notification bell for more amazing recipe like this, so that if I upload a new video, you'll be among the first to get notified. Once ready, set aside and let's beat the egg yolk. Just adding egg yolk and sugar. This is a half a cup. Like I said, I customize it to my own liking. I've lessened the sugar because I don't want a lot of sugar. You can as well adjust yours. Then add the oil and beat it until it's light and all the sugars dissolved. Then I'm adding my buttermilk, which will add some acid into my cake and it will make my cake moist and fluffy. Then some vanilla essence. Whip it using a hand mixer until it's nicely combined. Then once it's done, go in with your dry ingredients. Add your flour gradually as you fold. Using a spatula, fold in the dry ingredient gently until it's just combined. Don't overwork the batter. Once done with adding in the dry ingredients, go in with the warm coffee. This is 1/4 cup, and then fold it gently until it's nicely combined. Once done, add in your egg white in bits and fold it in gently. The egg white will give our cake a very light and airy texture, which will give us spongy cake, and that is the signature of a black forest cake. Be very careful and try to maintain the stiffness. Don't let it collapse. Fold it in until the egg white is invisible. And this is the consistency. want. Transfer it into your baking tin lined with parchment paper and ensure it's well leveled. Run in the skewer to remove the air bubbles, then tap it a little, then place it into your other tray and then pour hot water on the other tray, and this will help to retain the moisture in the cake. Then take it to the preheated oven of 180-degree and let it bake for 40 minutes or until the skewer runs clear. And my cake has been in and out of the oven. Smells amazing here, so let it sit in the baking tray for about 10 minutes before you transfer it to the wire rack to cool completely. And as we wait for the cake to cool, let's prep our sugar syrup. This recipe calls for cherry syrup and some cherry liquor, of which I don't have. Therefore, I'm going to use sugar syrup mixed with some rum. In another saucepan, add in water, half a cup and a quarter cup of sugar. Then stir it and take it to your stove. Heat to a boil on a low heat. Let it cook for about 5 minutes or until the sugar dissolves. Then take it out and pour it into your bowl. And like I told you, I'm going to use rum. You can as well use brandy, or if you are not doing alcohol, skip alcohol and just use sugar syrup alone. Give it a stir, then keep aside. And in place of cherry fruits, I'm going to use this strawberry. I've cleaned them, so I'm going to prep them. I will use them to fill my cake and also for the toppings. And we are also going to use some shredded chocolate. So I'm shredding this dark chocolate using a potato peeler. And you should be very careful while shredding it. So once I'm done, I'm just going to keep it to the fridge so that it doesn't melt. I want a 3-layer cake and I realized my cake will not give me 3 layers. So I baked this out of camera. It's just out of the oven. I'll place it into my wire rack and let it cool down before frosting. And my other cake has cooled, so I'm going to use serrated knife to trim this swollen part off. And this is just to level the cake. Suppose your cake has this funny shape. Thereafter, I'm going to slice my cake in the middle, which will give me 2 pieces of cake. And do this carefully so that you don't break the cake. It is nicely shaped and well aligned. Once done with the slicing, soak your cake with the sugar syrup and apply it generously using a pastry brush. And if you don't have pastry brush, you can as well use a spoon to feed the cake with the sugar syrup. Sugar syrup laced with some rum will make the cake so moist and very flavorful. It's time to make our whipped cream for frosting, and I like to use ice cold bowl. And cold whipped cream, I'm using 2 cups. The cream is sweetened, so I'm not going to add any sugar in it. Using cold whipped cream and the bowl, it enables your cream to beat up so fast, even if you're using our hand whisk. Using an hand mixer, start beating with the low speed, then increase the speed later as it peaks. And at this point, increase the speed and whip it until it's stiff, peak, stable, and increased in volume. Once done, fill the piping bag with the whipped cream. And I've placed around large nozzle in the piping bag, and this one I'm going to use for frosting. Guys, if you haven't liked this video up to this point, what are you still waiting for? Give me that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed and you find this kind of content useful, kindly consider subscribing for more amazing recipes like this. Thank you. Watch the video up to the end. And I will use this star nozzle to create my rosette, so I'm also going to fill the piping bag with some whipped cream and set it aside. And it's time to assemble our cake. Apply small amount of whipped cream on the cake board to hold the cake while on frosting process so that it will not be shaken. Using a piping bag with a large round nozzle, peppering of frosting around the edges to create the border, and the border will help keep the fillings in the inside. Once done with the frosting of the first layer, add your sliced strawberry on top of the frosting. Then sprinkle some shredded chocolate on top to enhance the flavor. This will give our cake a very rich chocolate taste. Then place another layer of the cake. And you're going to repeat this process until all the layers are nicely assembled. Once done, place the final layer and ensure it's well aligned. Next, I'm going to apply a crumb coat layer. This is a thin layer which will seal all the crumbs. I'm using a palette knife to spread it evenly to cover the crumbs. Guys, I hope at this point you've given me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, kindly consider subscribing, support my channel and help me grow. Thank you. Smoothen it using a palette knife as you go all around and scrape the excess frosting. And this is my final frosting, a generous amount of frosting. Using a palette knife, I will spread the frosting evenly to cover the cake completely. Taking it all round, then I'll finish with the top. And don't worry if the frosting is not perfectly, we're going to cover it with some shredded chocolate. Smoothen it with a smoother to give it a final touch, then level the top. For the final touch, use your hands to spread the shredded chocolate on the sides of the cake. And ensure you're not tense at this point so that your body temperature doesn't come too hot so that it melts down the chocolate. Then clear the cake board by scraping off all the excess chocolate on the cake board. And this is the final stage. Let's finish it with some rosette on top. And some simple design to create a border to seal the bottom part. And garnish the top with some shredded chocolate and top it up with some fresh strawberry fruit. Like I mentioned, I don't have cherries, and strawberry is equally fine, so I did a twist of this. And of course, it's a birthday and mine, so I had to give it a touch of the sprinkle. How will you know it's a birthday without a sprinkle? And of course, it's a happy birthday to me. Guys, thanks for keeping me company up to this point. And if you haven't subscribed and you find this content useful, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. And I hope to see you in my next. Bye for now.